Hello, my minions. This is Master Crusader here, and we're starting a new series today, How to Program a Bukkit Plugin. I'd like to welcome all the newcomers that are coming here. If you'd like to become a minion, click the subscribe button and hang out with us. We do videos pretty often, and I think they're awesome. So thanks for finding this video. Today we're just going to talk about programming and what the rest of this series is going to hold. First of all, we're going to build a plugin together. The plugin is called Fight the Infection, and what it does is it enables an infection that the zombies can give you, and it's a server-wide plugin, so it'll affect all players on your server, and there are quests that you'll have to do to go cure yourself. When you die, a zombie will spawn in your location, and you'll be banned from the server for a certain amount of time. We'll talk about that in the configuration and setup of this plugin next episode. But before we start, I want to make sure that we all are on the same page software-wise. There's only 4 pieces of software that we're going to use. The first one is a website. To plan our plugin, we're going to use a planning website called Trello. It's Trello.com, first link in the description. If you have used Trello, that's awesome. It's great. If you haven't, we're going to talk about it next episode. We're going to actually plan out what is all going to be included in this plugin, at least the first few steps. We're going to use Trello to focus on the agile aspect of programming this plugin. So if you're familiar with agile methodologies, hopefully I'm not boring you to tears. So Trello, number 1. Number 2 is IntelliJ IDEA. I'm going to be using IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate. You can get a free version of IntelliJ IDEA from JetBrains. Second link in the description. So the only difference between the Community Edition and the Ultimate Edition for our purposes in this tutorial is that the Community Edition does not include syntax highlighting for YML files. YML, or yet another markup language, is the format that Bukkit plugins use for the configuration files. And we're going to use a couple different configuration files for this plugin. So if you're using the Community Edition, you're not going to get syntax highlighting. If you are using the Ultimate Edition, you will get syntax highlighting. IntelliJ IDEA is like $200 for a professional license. The free version is well worth it. Go get the Community Edition. The third piece of software, of course, is Bukkit. Bukkit's got 2 different files, 2 different jars that you're going to have to download. The first jar is the API. What the API does is it describes classes that we have access to in the server, but we don't need to have the server. If you can program all of the functionality for your plugin using only the API, then most likely that plugin will be probably compatible with future releases of the Bukkit server. That's not a guarantee, but it's pretty safe. If you're going to be modifying the actual server itself, that is the second jar that you'll have to download, and we will be modifying some of that. If you modify the actual server, change the code of how the server functions, you can do that in your plugin, but your plugin will no longer be forward compatible. It will be tied to a specific release of Bukkit. And we'll talk about that when we get into there. We'll be talking about that later. And finally, the last piece of software that you're going to need is Minecraft. So as a software developer myself, I believe wholeheartedly that we need to support the software developers. So the only thing I'm going to say, and I'm only going to say it once, if you do not have a full version of the game, if you haven't paid for Minecraft and you're using a hacked copy, please go buy the actual game. That's all I'm going to say. Cheers. So now that we've got the software and we've got everything set up, next episode we're going to talk about Trello. The episode after that, we're going to start writing some code and talking about the inner workings of Bukkit. Now, this tutorial also assumes that you have a rudimentary knowledge of Java programming. We are going to go over some of the Java concepts, programming concepts in this. So a lot of the more advanced topics in Java we're going to touch on, and we'll go over those. But for the most part, I assume that you have some programming experience. If you don't, there's a couple links in the description where you can start learning some stuff about Java. And there's another link in the description of a book that you can get from Amazon that will help you know the fundamentals of Java. So, yeah, go get your software installed and get ready to program a plugin. Fight the infection. See you next time. Cheers. Master Crusader signing off. Oh, by the way, click the subscribe button. Hang out. Cheers.